Hello everyone, welcome back to English class. Today we are going to continue our previous chapter and the previous chapter name is What the Happy Prince. In part first, I taught you up to paragraph number 4 and today we shall continue from the paragraph number 5. I am waited for in Egypt, said the swallow. My friends are flying up and down the Nile and taking to the large lotus flower. Soon they will go to sleep. So when the happy prince requested the bird to take out the red ruby from the sword hilt and give it to that poor lady and the needy lady so that she could help her son by giving him some fruits to eat because her son was lying sick. So the bird started telling to the prince that I want to go to Egypt because my friends are enjoying there and they are waiting for me, so I can't wait here. The prince asked the swallow to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. The boy is so thirsty and the mother so sad, he said. I don't think I like boys, answered the swallow. I want to go to Egypt. But the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. It is very cold here, he said. But he agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. But after listening the answer of the bird, the prince became very much sad. Why? Because he found that he is again unable to help the needy lady. So further, he just requested once more to the bird, the boy is very much thirsty, we must help him. So finally, the bird became ready to help that boy. And the bird said to the happy prince that yes, I am ready to be your messenger and I will stay here only for one night. So what happened? Thank you, little swallow, said the prince, and the prince became happy now. The swallow picked out the great ruby from the prince's sword and flew away with it in his beak over the roof of the town. He passed by the cathedral. Cathedral means what here? Church. Cathedral means church. And heard the sound of dancing. A beautiful girl came out on the balcony with her lover. I hope my dress will be ready in time for the state ball, she said. I have ordered flowers to be embroidered on it, but the seamstresses are so lazy. So when the bird was busy in taking that precious red ruby from the sword hilt to give it to the poor lady, that means the lady tailor. So the bird flew, the blew, the bird passed by the cathedral tower. So when he was going to house of that lady, on the way, the bird listened the sound of a dancing girl. So what was the sound? The dancing girl was telling to the dancing girl was telling to her lover that she had given an order to make her gown for the royal dance, but the seamstresses are so lazy because she was not very much confident whether her gown will be ready on time or not because it seemed to the beautiful dancer, that it was her belief, that means it was the belief of that dancing girl that seamstress, that means lady tailors, are very much lazy, so doesn't know whether the work will be completed on time or not. But still she said to her lover that she hoped her dress will be ready in time for the royal dance. He passed over the river and saw the lanterns, that means lantern, hanging on the mast, that means pole. Mast off the ship, at last he came to the poor woman's house and looked in. The boy was tossing furiously. That means the boy had very high fever, and because of the fever, he was just taking one side and he was just moving in the bed. He was taking this side, he was sleeping another side. He was continuously moving from one side to another side in his bed, on his bed. And the mother had fallen asleep. She was so tired, and because of the entire day work, his mother was also sleeping another side. In he hopped and laid the great ruby on the table beside the woman's thimble. So what did the bird do there? The bird just kept the precious ruby stone near by the Lady Taylor's thimble. Thimble means what? A metal cap which you can wear just to protect your finger. Because so many times, like every time she has to work with the needle. So it gives what? Protection. So the bird just kept that red ruby near by her thimble. Then he flew gently round the bed, fanning the boy's forehead with his wings. How cool I feel, said the boy. I must be getting better. And he sank into a delicious slumber. Slumber means what? Sleep. Delicious slumber means what? Deep sleep. Slumber means what? Sleep. So the bird kept that precious stone, and after keeping it, the bird the bird fanning the boy's forehead with his wings. Then the bird started flying, and that is why the bird fanning the boy's forehead with his wings. So the bird just moved his wings, and that is why the boy felt cool. And the boy said, how cool I feel. So I must be getting better. So when the bird was flying, the sick boy, felt some coolness. He felt like he felt little better when the bird started flying because of the air created by flying of the wings. Okay, so what happened? It seemed to the boy that he was getting better and sank into a delicious slumber. Actually, what happens when you feel feverish, you don't feel comfortable. Similarly, the boy was not feeling comfortable, but when the bird moved his wings to fly, in order to fly, the boy felt very good. He felt little comfortable. So the sick boy thought that he was getting better, and that is why he became very much happy and he just slept. Then the swallow flew back to the happy prince and told him what he had done. Finally, he just did his work and came back to happy prince. And then he was telling to the happy prince that I feel quite warm now, although it is so cold. So the bird told to the prince that that means the bird was feeling little warm, but it was cold outside. So he's saying that although it is so cold outside, but I feel little warm. Then the happy prince said to the bird that is because that is because you have done a good action. So said the prince, and the little swallow began to think and then fell asleep. Thinking always made him sleepy. So what happened? When the prince appreciated the bird because you have done very good work today, and that is why you are feeling little warm. So whenever we do any good work, that time also we feel little warm. And the same thing was felt by the bird, and he was appreciated by the happy prince. And the bird became very much happy, and he started feeling what little sleepy. He started thinking, and it was the nature of the bird. Whenever he used to think, he started feeling what sleepy. So finally he felt sleepy and he just slept. When when day broke, he flew down to the river and had a bath. Tonight I go to Egypt, said the swallow. Finally, another day, the bird decided that he will just leave this place and reach to Egypt. And he was in high spirit at the prospect. He visited all the monuments, that means historical building, and sat a long time on top of the church steeple. When the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. Have you any commissions for Egypt? He cried. I am just starting. So, commission. Commission means what? Here, work. COMMISSIONS. Commission means what? Work, or you can say what? Order also. All right. So the bird decided to leave this place, and the bird decided to go to Egypt. So he just asked to the happy prince, do you have any work from the Egypt? If you have any work, you can say to me, I am ready to do your work in Egypt, because I am about to leave this place today's night. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, will you stay with me one night longer? That means when the happy prince came to know that the birds about to leave, then again the happy prince made a request to the little swallow, the little bird, to stay with him one more night. I am waited for in Egypt, answered the swallow. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, sighed the prince. Far away across the city, I see a young man in a garret. All right. So garret means what? The iron grill. He is leaning over a desk covered with the paper, and in a glass by his side there is a bunch of withered violet. His hair is brown and crisp, and his lips are red as a pomegranate. The boy is a man, a young man is inside the room, whose lips are as red as the pomegranate. You know very well what is the color of the pomegranate. It is very red color. All right. So the happy prince, requesting, he is explaining about the condition of a young man who was doing his work. He has large and dreamy eyes. He is trying to finish a play for the director of the theater, but he is too cold to write any more. This is There is no fire in the garret, and the hunger has made him faint. So what further he said to the bird, little swallow, 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 please live with me one more night, because now there is another boy who is very needy, and the boy was trying to finish his play, because he was given a work by the director of the theater. So he was trying to do his work, he was trying to finish his work, but because of the hunger and because of the cold, because inside the room, inside the iron chain, that means the boy where he was doing work, there is very much cold inside even the room, and there is no fire. There was no fire at all. And the prince said to the bird that because of the hunger, the boy is unable to do anything. There was no energy left in the body of the boy, and that is why he is unable to complete his work. So, little swallow, please help the boy, the needy boy. I will wait with you one night longer, said the swallow, who really had a good heart. He asked if he should take another ruby to the young playwright. Alas, I have no ruby now, said the prince. My eyes are all that I have left. They are made of rare sapphires which were brought from India 1,000 years ago. He ordered the swallow to pluck out one of them and take it to the playwright. He will sell it to the jeweler and buy firewood and finish his play, he said. Dear prince, said the swallow, I cannot do that. And he began to weep. Swallow, 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 little swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. So what happens further? The prince requested the bird to stay one more night because he wanted to help the needy boy who was feeling very much hungry. And the little fellow was also the little swallow, that means the little bird, was also very kind-hearted bird, and he became ready to stay one more night along with this happy prince. And the bird decided to help that boy. But when he came to know that the prince was giving him order to pluck one of his eyes because the eye of Happy Prince was decorated with what? A very precious stone, that was sapphire, because he had nothing, he had no other costly things along with the prince, and that is why he just requested the bird to you know to pluck out one of them, one of the sapphire from the eyes of the happy prince. After listening, the little birds said to the happy prince, I cannot do that. And he began to weep because the bird was also very soft hearted bird, and that is why it was not very much, it was very difficult for being so kind to pluck one of the eyes of the happy prince. So he just told, no, 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 I can't do that. I cannot pluck your eyes. I cannot pluck the sapphire from your eyes. I will not be able to pull. But further, the prince said to the bird, do as I command you. If you want to really help me, kindly do whatever I am giving you order. Command means what? A kind of order. So the swallow plucked out the prince's eyes and flew away to the young man's garret. It was easy enough to get in, as there was a hole in the roof. Through this he darted and came into the room. The young man had his head buried in his hands. Buried means what? Placed. That means to hide. So he did not hear the flutter of the bird's wings, and when he looked up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violet. Withered violet means what? Withered means what? Not very much fresh, and violets means here flower which is blue in color. So the prince requested to take out one of his sapphire from his eyes and give it to that needy boy so that he could sell this sapphire uh, in the market, and he could get some money on behalf of this jewelry, this costly stones. And what happened? So finally, the bird took out that precious stone and he kept there in the room of that needy boy who was trying to finish his work. Because the young man had his head buried in his hand, and that is why he couldn't realize the presence of the bird. And very silently, the bird kept that precious stones nearby him. And when he got up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violets. So he saw that it was kept near him. I am beginning to be appreciated, he cried. This is from some great admirer. Now I can finish my play, and he looked quite happy. So when he saw that very precious stone was kept, so it seemed to him that he felt that somebody has kept this sapphire just to appreciate his work because he realized that he was doing very well in writing, and he became little happy and he started again his work. The next day the swallow flew down to the harbor. He sat on the mast of a large vessel. Vessel means what? Ship. Vessel means what? Ship. And was the sailors working? I am going to Egypt, cried the swallow, but nobody minded. Minded means what? Pay attention. And when the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. I have come to bid you goodbye, he cried, and finally the bird decided to move to Egypt. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, will you not stay with me one night? When the bird decided to so it was winter, answered the swallow. Okay, my dear student, I will continue in next class. Okay, so this was second part. In next class, I will teach you from paragraph number 11. Thank you very much.